Time to call the February Elizabethton Board of Education meeting to order. At this time, I will call on Mr. Van Hust to lead us in a moment of silence and a pledge to the flag.
Thank you. Please stand. Pause for a moment of silence. Thank you. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now time to approve consent agenda and regular agenda. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Have a motion and a second.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Anything need to move? Question about anything? Okay, item on the floor is to approve consent agenda and regular agenda. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And there are none. Next, time for citizens to speak. We didn't have anyone ask to speak before the board. And on special recognitions, we're waiting till things settle down this second semester. There will be a lot of things to celebrate here really soon. At this time, we will turn it over to Mr. Van Hust to give the director's update.
Thank you very much and good evening. Great to see all of you here today. I just want to give you a quick update on some capital projects that are occurring again around the system. Work continues at Harold McCormick, as we've talked about before, moving right along with 2 other classrooms. Hope to have those finished up maybe sometime there around spring break time. So they will finish up 2 more, turn those over to us, and then move on, excuse me, to 2 more. T.A. Duggar, that project, the secure entrance is about to wrap up. They installed the the roll-up door that secures the office space in the event of a fire. There's a door that lowers, very similar to what they have at Eastside. That's been installed today. There's a couple other things they need to do regarding some doors and the ballistic film that needs to be placed on those. But our hope is that maybe we can get a partial certificate of occupancy while we're waiting until that ballistic film is ready to be installed. So we hope to maybe have that open in the next couple of weeks. So I will let you know, keep you posted on that. The Union Pharmacy building, we have plans to be able to move in there, at least the alternative school portion, after spring break. The unit is in, it's being connected, hooked up, tested, and things like that. The next thing will be installation of floor tile in that space. So if you have a chance, you want to check out any of these projects or anything, certainly you're welcome to stop by, but if you want me to go with you, just let me know and we can go and take a look at those. But that project's moving along. Once we finish that part, then we'll move to the Family Resource Center side and the professional development side, and should be able to do a lot of that work ourselves internally. So that's going to be a great space to use as well. We've already been talking about all the things we can use that for as soon as we get it. Also, the softball field at the high school, that project is completed. There's a couple of things there. They've got to come and finish up some fence work, but it looks great. I stopped by yesterday. I was leaving the high school at the end of the day, and they were practicing, so I had the opportunity to go out there and stop and check it out. And I don't know who was more excited, the girls or the coaches. It's probably a toss-up on that. But baseball field, all the netting is up there, looks great. They're ready to install turf there. I was talking with some of the board members a few minutes ago. The turf is on location along with all of the infill, so that project will really pick up steam as well. The hitting facility, they were able to receive their building permit yesterday, and the Diamond Club will be heading up that project. So you'll be able to see a lot of earth moving and a lot of progress there starting early next week. The training facility at the high school, we're doing a little bit more work. Again, I think I've mentioned to you about we're trying to make sure that financially that we're stretching the dollars as far as we can to get everything we can in that facility. So we hope to have some more information on that soon. We'll be looking at a groundbreaking in either the later part of March, maybe the first week or so of April there, but we'll certainly be in touch with you and let you know about that as well. Thank you for your consideration on the ballistic film installation project that's on the regular agenda tonight. Again, this will be paid for out of a combination of funds. There's a state safety grant that will pay for the bulk of this. There's also some general purpose dollars we can put toward that depending on where the final amount based on volume of what we're able to do, as well as maybe some of the COPS grant dollars as well. So that's going to be a huge improvement for safety across the district as well. So appreciate your consideration on that tonight. Thank you for the opportunity to attend the TSBA Legal and Legislative Institute earlier this week. Went with Mr. Isaacs, Ms. Schaff, and Mr. Pless. Had a great time. Learned a lot of information. Some of it we liked and some of it we didn't like, but you know, that's the nature of it, unfortunately. But it was great to be there with all the board members, but especially getting a chance to interact with other directors and other school boards across the state as well. That's always a great time, and I'm sure you'll have an opportunity to share your thoughts on what we learned as well in a few minutes. Of course, we have budget workshop number 1 at the conclusion of this meeting, and we're going to focus today on capital requests and needs that were brought to us by the schools across the district. So we'll talk about that. The plan will be to have workshop number 2, which will focus a lot on staffing and those type issues, personnel. That's probably going to be in April. That will give us another month to collect TISA information and get a projection on what our budget dollars are going to look like. And so that will be coming at this point. The plan will be to do that in April. I would like to mention, congratulate Hudson Smith. He's a junior at Elizabethton High School, and he was selected and voted by his peers at Elizabethton High School to be the next school board liaison for the 24-25 school year. And he has big shoes to fill.
Yes, he does.
Certainly. But Hudson's a great guy. We're excited about being able to work with him, and I'm sure you'll teach him everything he needs to know, and you'll have the opportunity to go to the Scope Conference together, I think, which is a great thing, and you'll be able to help him understand what he's about to get himself into. But no, we're excited for him. But again, he has big shoes to fill. So also. Well, I won't steal anyone's thunder on that. I'll leave that alone. So that's the conclusion of my report. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Now for board member reports, anybody have anything they want to share? I'll start outside of the conference we went to. If you do get a chance to go see, I appreciate Mr. Vanis took me through T.A. Duggar, through the again, that entrance and everything that's going on there, just really nice. Somebody who spent about a third of my life in that building almost every day. It's just really nice what they're doing in that building. It's going to be such a much better situation from a security and other things as well. And then we jumped on over to Harold McCormick. They're amazing people by being able to have school and what they're going through, but it's going to be so nice, and it is really nice getting to see the progress. So at some point you can just kind of imagine going in there and everything being finished, and we'll all celebrate that, but appreciate their staff for putting up with what you have to in progress in an old building. But anybody want to share anything about the trip or anything else that's going on?
Well, I appreciated the opportunity to get to go. It was reassuring to sit with other school boards and see that we're not a minority about the voucher situation, that the opposition is a majority. Speaking with the senator and the speaker was quite enlightening, to say the least, but it was just interesting to listen to other people's school board members' opinions on this, and how the teacher and the public education is the forefront of what we're all there for, and vouchers will take away from the public school system, so you just need to pay attention to that.
Okay.
Well, I agree with Jamie. It was very enlightening. A lot of information, a lot of things kind of thrown at us, but things are really changing. You know, as I've been on the board over the last several years, a lot of this cyberbullying and AI, all this stuff, things are changing, and we're going to have to change with it. And so we just, like I say, it was very interesting.
The AI, the artificial intelligence component, I mean, if you're not using it and you're not in a classroom having to deal with it, you may not realize the impact. But I learned in about 10 minutes how to use it, not for good, but you have to kind of know that to kind of protect your classroom and the integrity of things. And bottom line is, students need to be taught how to use it properly and to know the cons of what can take place there. Very, very enlightening. And then we also had a chance to talk about if you're a college sports fan or somebody who's antagonistic, you probably may be on the NIL. The way these college guys are now kind of unreined freedom to be able to receive funding on things, but yet how it is reached the high school level, and whether we're aware of it or not, it's there. But really the education that we got was just to say, hey, if it is happening, you've got to protect your student athletes. They've got to make sure they know kind of what's going on. I hope that it's something that never enters our area, but it goes on around, and we're about protecting our student athletes, and that was really good information. So, and again, I appreciate the opportunity. All that, we have a short window to hook up with people and talk about our opinions with them, because they all are busy when they get back. So that interaction's really invaluable. Anybody else? All right, we'll move on. Mr. Simmerly, anything you'd like to share, and money you have to give? Okay, all right.
Thank you and good evening. Excuse me, I have a little bit of a cold here. Thank you, Mr. Van Hust, for the update on the training facility. That was number one on my list, to ask for an update on that, because we are all very obviously excited about getting some ground broke on that and getting a new building up. So really excited about that. Excuse me. I have mentioned to several people within at least a high school level, we have a building that we took responsibility of recently from Ballard Health. In that building has a bunch of exercise equipment. Not saying the city's going to have an exercise gym or anything like that, but please get with our city manager if you think that the school system could use any of that exercise equipment. There's some, looks good to me. I don't exercise a lot, but it looks, pretty good stuff down there. Weightlifting, bicycles, treadmills, and just a little bit of everything that they had down there when Ballard closed that up. So again, I don't know what kind of deal we could work with the school system, but I'm sure we could work out a program if you guys could use any of that for weightlifting or for the student athletes or for anyone else as far as that goes. Most importantly, excuse me, City Council here in early March will be heading down for our annual conference with the Tennessee Municipal League. TML is what the state likes to call that. And in that conference we go to once a year, it's pretty important for most all the cities, because we go down and we meet with the leaders from the Tennessee Municipal League, but more importantly, we go over to Capitol Hill and we get to meet with the legislature as well as the Senate. So we'll be meeting with Mr. Holtzcloth as well as Rusty Crowe, and we'll be going to several meetings. So I do know that we have a point that you guys voted on last time about the state voucher program. I would strongly encourage you to get a copy of that to me and or to our city manager. We'll be leaving the first week in March, and we'll be happy to take that down there and personally hand that to our Senate as well as our legislative staff, because it looks like the governor is just wide open, or at least what I'm reading in the paper, he's wide open about this voucher program. And he needs to listen to the people that vote for him, and that's us. So if we don't want voucher program, we need to personally take it down there and lay it on their desk and let them know we are against this. So get us copies of that, and we'll carry it down for you on the first week here in March. That's all I've got, unless you've got some questions for the city.
we appreciate what you're doing.
Oh, you're
with
welcome.
us. Thank you.
Honored to do it. Thank you.
I do have one question. On the Franklin Fitness Center,
Certainly.
has that officially changed hands?
We
Is
have
that-
keys. We have keys. We're working on leaky roofs,
Gotcha.
heating systems, and
Okay.
as we're speaking, yes,
Great,
we've done that.
great.
So-
Thank you.
Will they heat the pool, is the question.
We are going to have a heated pool. Right now,
Get
we're,
back.
right now, we were told it was a $600,000 project. We had a $600,000 grant. All was great, but we all know what happens to projects. That project went from 600,000 to 1.1 million in the blink of an eye overnight, and how that happened, and how it changed. But yes, we're going to have a heated pool, Mr. Alexander.
That'll triple quadruple the number of
It-
people who go.
And we're
Yes,
going to have a new
really.
liner. It actually is not going to be leaking
No.
water overnight and draining each night into the Watauga River.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And now, Ms. Hannah, Student Liaison.
Hello. So first, I wanted to congratulate Hudson Smith. I believe he's going to do a great job in this role and carry on what we've been working on over this past year. So first of all, each board member should have a keychain in front of them. So this was designed by our digital arts students and teachers this year. So if you didn't know, this is the 50th year celebration of Elizabethton High School, which began in 1974. So these keychains have the coordinates of the school as well as the design that they made. So you can have a little token of that with you now. Secondly, I wanted to highlight the messaging system that Dr. Mitten and I have been working on. I know I mentioned it at the last board meeting, but now we've actually pushed it out to all of the students and are getting them enrolled in this system. So it's the same thing that the teachers use to communicate, and now our students will have access to that to receive daily announcements, and any other important information that they may be needing. And it's really the best way to keep the students in the know and connected to what's happening in the school, so then they're not like, oh, well, I didn't know about that. Now they have it in their text messages and can check that at any time. So thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for your input on that. That's
Yes,
very helpful.
that is big. And from the board and board liaison to the schools, in recognition, National School Board Week, we appreciate the gifts and trinkets. We always do. It's unnecessary, but we do thank you again for those things, and we certainly appreciate the job each school, their administration does on a daily basis. So thank you all. All right, we'll move on to the regular agenda. First item on the regular agenda is to approve Elizabethton City Schools budget request for the 2024-2025 school year. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
And a second?
Second.
Second, all right. And Mr. Van Huss?
Yes. Yes, so in your packet, you have a copy of the letter that we will be submitting to the city manager. In essence, that is, we are not requesting any additional funding for the 24-25 year. Of course, as you know, last year we approached the city about $1 million investment to help us complete some capital projects across the district. They were so gracious to approve that. That was $500,000 in 23-24, and then another $500,000 in 24-25. So we've just reiterated the fact that we appreciate that commitment for 24-25, but beyond that, that will be the extent of what we're proposing to ask for from the city. But I just want to go just state again how much we appreciate Mr. Simmerly and the entire city council and city government as a whole, how they support us not only financially, but just, you know, they're behind us every step of the way. We're just really blessed to have such a great relationship with city council. It takes a village to operate a school system and a community, and we're very blessed to have people like yourselves on this board as well as on city council that understand how important it is to invest in children, and they put their money where their mouth is, and I just can't say enough good things about them, and again, how they've supported us to be able to do some of these things we would never have been able to do without their support. So.
Anything? I appreciate Phil brought this up while we were down in Nashville, just where we heard other systems talking about their needs, their facility needs, maintenance needs, and knowing that they were just in trouble. And he brought up obviously just ways that we've been helped through the years and are so appreciative of, again, what the city has done for us. We're not dealing with some of the things that a lot of systems are, and we appreciate Phil bringing that up earlier this week. Okay.
And let me point out one other thing on there as well is we are notifying them about the request to potentially use a fairly significant amount of half-cent excess sales tax. Again, that fund, as you know, was set aside many years ago, led by someone at this table. But the things we've been able to do in the school system because of that half-cent sales tax, it's amazing. When you look at every single campus, you can't help but notice the impact those dollars have had. And so the main focus of that half-cent sales tax was to be able to pay off bonds that we secured to do that work. Well, right now, because sales tax is at an all-time high, that continues to generate some excess funds in there. And that's what we're proposing to use to complete some of these projects like the training facility at the high school, as well as, you know, some of these items like the secure entrance at T.A. Duggar. So we are asking for the ability to use some of those funds as we need it based on where the final numbers come in. But the burden that half-cent sales tax is removed from the property tax payer of the city is tremendous. So if someone drives through on their way to the ski slopes and they stop in Elizabethton and they get gas, then that's helping pay for this. So so again, that sales tax revenue has paid so many dividends for this community and saved the property taxpayer a considerable amount. So I wanted to mention that as well.
Anything else? Okay, the items to approve Elizabethton City Schools budget request for the 2024-2025 school year. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And there are none. Next item, approve awarding RFP ECSS 2023-2024-02 for purchase and installation of security film for windows and entrance doors to Solar Response LLC. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Got your choice, Miss Cindy. Okay.
So again, in your packet there, you have all the information from the RFP that we put out for this project. Again, this is to install ballistic film, basically a plastic coating that goes on all of the glass doors and windows that are the law states ground level, but we're going a little above and beyond that. So myself and Mr. Burrow, the maintenance supervisor, we went around to all the schools and we identified the windows that we felt like that we needed to make sure had this coating. So again, just to reiterate, this ballistic film it won't stop a bullet, but what it will do is it will keep the glass from shattering. If someone shoots, the glass won't shatter and they can just walk through the door. It takes considerable effort beyond that, just shooting a bullet through the glass, which, you know, God forbid that ever happen. That gives us precious seconds and up to minutes for us to be able to respond in that type situation. So again, that's something very, very morbid, and our school buildings weren't built with these types of threats in mind. That's just the reality. But this will go a long way in securing that, and hopefully it will make parents, of whom you know, I'm one of those, will make parents feel better about sending their children to school, that we're doing everything we can within the realm of possibility to try to make things as safe as we possibly can. So we had great response to that. There were, haven't even counted, I think seven people that submitted bids, and Solar Response was the low bidder. And based on their number, what we asked for, we felt the best way to do a comparison was how much a price per square foot of this film. And then there's also a key component of it is the caulk that goes around that secures that film to the frame of the window or door. And so we've selected them, and we've obviously done our research on this particular company. They're working in districts all over the state. They completed a project in Bristol and Washington County schools as well. and they were very pleased with the work they did there. So the next step, if this is approved, is we'll have them come over, and then we'll go back around to the buildings, and they'll give us an estimate on the exact square footage, and then we can back into, based on the grants that we have, how much work we can do, if that makes sense. So you'll approve the lowest one here, and then we'll work within the grant budgets that we have to put this on as many as possible. Does that make sense?
What is the low bid?
So, yes, so solar response, it's $7 a square foot for the film itself, and then $3 a square foot for the adhesive, or excuse me, $3 a foot for the adhesive that goes around the edges. And that was quite a bit. The next lowest bid was $8.61 a square foot, and the adhesive was $8.82 a foot.
But we
So-
don't know what the total cost of the project is.
No, so that's what we'll do next. We'll get an actual square footage of all of this glass we're talking about. And again, we have in our mind what we need to do. We're gonna talk to them as well. We may be going overkill on some places, like, you know, they may say, well, we've done this all over the place and this window's too high, you really don't need to do this one. So we're gonna work with them on that. And then I'll be sure to let you all know, but the grant we have is $108,000, Mr. Boatman? That's from the state specifically for this. And then we're also using that as some of our matching grant funds for the COPS grant, the card readers that we're putting on the schools. And so we may have to put some additional general purpose money toward this in order to meet the local match for that federal grant. So we may be able to stretch that a little bit more. But I've worked with Ms. Wilson on that too. So, but I'll let you all know what that final amount, what we're able to do.
May I say something?
You sure may.
This is serious business, and the people, many of the people here that have been in positions where weapons were available and things of this nature, but it's seconds. It's just seconds that a person can get away or get help to come in. And so Nashville's a perfect example, as the guy came through the door. And I'm just thrilled that y'all are doing it. And it's not bulletproof, but it gives you time.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions for me on that?
Okay. Items to approve, awarding RFP ECSS 2023-2024-02 for purchase and installation of security film for windows and entrance doors to Solar Response LLC. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And there are none. Just a quick reminder, immediately following this meeting, we will sit for a brief budget workshop, so we'll take just a quick break and then just move right into that. The next regularly scheduled meeting will be held on Thursday, March 21st at 5:30 here in the boardroom. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All right. Thank you all for being here. If you would like to stay for the budget workshop, we'll take, or do you want us to move straight into it?